When someone gets asked what they want to be when they grow up, the answer always varies. It can be a mix of people that are certain about what they want to do, people that have a relative idea, and people that have no clue. Whenever I get that question, my response usually involves books. So for this, I figured the best person to interview would be someone who does just that. I interviewed Lexi Moore, who is a librarian at the Hills Beaver Creek Elementary and High School. I talked to her to see if she would be interested in me interviewing her, and once she said yes, we decided that we could do it during a period when we were both free. Throughout the interview, it was never awkward or uncomfortable, and I feel it's made me better at communicating in general. Now, the reason she decided to choose this job to start off was because it involved a lot of creativity, and that's something she really enjoys. She also likes to read, and to be a librarian, that's a big factor, since you have to have some background knowledge to help students pick out books and other things like that. To do the work that she does, you would have to know how to communicate on all levels with things such as verbal, email, posters, texts, and more. You would also have to have a diverse educational background and take lots of liberal arts classes. You will also have to have patience, organization, adaptability, and interpersonal skills. Patience is also one of the biggest struggles though, because you will have to work with children that aren't going to want to read because it's not their favorite thing to do, and it's hard to convince them to want to enjoy it. But all in all, the more that you bring to the job, the better. For education, she initially went to study law in college and ended up not liking it. For librarian, some places require a library science degree, some a teaching license, and some an American library degree. For her though, she didn't need any because circumstances were high, and if that's the case, she recommends life experience, being an avid reader, and a library patron. Her lack of education was initially seen as a setback, but she discovered that it was later an advantage because she wasn't stuck inside of a box and taught to do things one certain way. There are some challenges with this job though. One example is when students are too stubborn to try and don't want to listen, but she doesn't see this as a setback, more like a learning experience, and instead she tries to help them. A few negatives that come with this job are negative attitudes that go toward reading, when there is a lack of organization, and when books get returned and they are ruined. She says that negatives and challenges are actually a good thing in the long run because if things were perfect all of the time, it would get boring. On the positive side, her favorite part of her work is working with preschoolers because they are very pure and they participate in things with no complaints. And the part that she finds the most enjoyable is when something clicks for a student and when they finally understand something. In her 6th grade class, she makes them write and she gets to watch their eyes light up as they get hooked on the writing when they start explaining it. Her motivation to work and get up and go to work are her students because they bring her joy, and they are basically instant feedback since they aren't afraid to voice their opinions, like when they are unhappy with something or they really like something. And the most unique thing about her job is that it is different every day and week. She stated that a reason people usually leave this particular field is because of lack of support from the school or community, getting too many people that don't find value in it, and the fact that you don't get a lot of money. Lastly, the experiences she advises for anyone thinking about going into this field are volunteering at libraries and attending things related to libraries, and reading blogs that are full of information about new authors and books. She also thinks that it's a really fun and outstanding job to have, and she recommends it to anyone thinking about it. Overall, I think this assignment has helped me immensely. I've learned a ton about becoming a librarian, such as the highs and lows of becoming one, how even though it can be challenging at times, it's worth it, and how patience is a big factor in being one. All in all, I think that I am very equipped for this job. I love reading and want to make a job out of it. To be able to help people find joy in reading and teaching them how fun it can be would be a dream. Something I can start to work on is my communication via posters and things like that. I wish I would have been able to find more careers that involve reading. And I know that if I want to find these though, I can just go to my local library and ask, or just search it on the internet. So, take the time and think of this job. And if it interests you at all, next time you get asked what you want to do when you're older, you'll know you have something to say.